want to go out to the actual prosecutor himself, Mike Harson. He is the prosecutor responsible for having put away Dr. Schmidt. Mike, did you initially believe Janice, and you hear all this conversation going on here where there's a little bit of, wondering about the nature of their relationship, but we're saying that all of that aside does not have anything to do with what this man did.
No, I agree with that, and I did initially believe her. The injection turned out it had been given in August of '94, I believe it was, and of course the doctors didn't relay the information about her having contracted HIV until after the holidays, so she didn't come see me till about probably 6-7 months after that. But I sat and listened to her, and she was very compelling. I mean, she was a very straightforward witness, very believable. And so I listened very intently to what she had to say. It was a very strange situation.
How about Dr. Schmidt? I mean, just the fact that he had a patient who was also his lover, who was also his nurse, who had broken up from, and he was still having a child with and still being her doctor. I mean, all that nonsense, shenanigans. I'll use the word, shenanigans.
You're so judgmental, Drew.
Yeah.
What was he like?
There obviously were a number of ethical violations on his part, no doubt.
Yeah.
I may point out, just as an aside, that after he was arrested and he came up for a bond hearing, in the audience at the bond hearing was not only his wife, but his new girlfriend.
Oh,
who was
my
also a nurse.
God.
Wow.
He's a pig.
At one point in the case, the nurse, the new girlfriend, mysteriously ended up moving to Ohio or someplace up north for a while, and we ended up worked out and eventually I think got her back. But yeah,
wow.
It was kind of a strange situation having the wife and the new girlfriend, and he admitted on the stand that he in fact was having an affair with this new person in front of his wife.
This is embarrassing for my gender, because there's always women who take up with guys like this.
Right.
What do you make of this guy? Let's stay with him. What do you make of him?
Pig.
Well, honestly, he was a very good doctor, but was egomaniacal, in my opinion.
I don't. Those two things don't exist together in my world. I mean, just the fact that he had all those horrible boundary violations with his patients is already making him not a good doctor. And by the way, sometimes when you're over gratifying to patients, they love the fact that you're so paternalistic and all that. But in fact, he may have been doing a bad job. Patients don't often know when the doctor's doing a bad job. They just love the attention.
I have a question.
Well,
Mr. Harson, so typically in a criminal case, there's plea offers. So this guy got 50 years on the back end. What was the plea offer? If he had pled guilty, what would you have offered him?
We were making no offer in that case because of the nature of the offense, plus the fact that his lawyer wouldn't entertain any prospect anyway.
So obviously they felt very confident in the case.
Yeah, he did.
Evidence was overwhelming.
Let me get something from the audience. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Armand, and I've worked in the HIV and AIDS prevention and education field, and I still consult in the field. A lot of things are not adding up. The average window period for someone contracting HIV is between 2 and 3 months.
Yeah.
So a lot of these symptoms that they're saying that happened, I'm not saying the crime couldn't happen, but it's not adding up. Also, this is a prime example of someone violating what we now know as a HIPAA law. They didn't have it back in 1994.
Yeah.
So I'm just really curious on how does she get these symptoms, the things that happen, and it's not adding up. From someone who works in the field and still consult, it's not adding up.
Well, I agree. She talked about swollen lymph nodes and all this business, which she probably didn't have. That may have been hyperbole for the forensic files more than for the courtroom. But be that as it may, I'll let the prosecutor answer that question if you do have a response.
Well, I'll just say this. She was able to determine the date of the injection. And you understand, when we first met, she told me a lot of these facts, but there was no evidence to support some of what she was saying. But through the course of the investigation, we found out a number of things that certainly corroborated exactly what she said, like the date of the offense. She couldn't remember it when she first met with me. But after Detective Kraft spoke to her for a while and told her, look, just go back and think of things that you did or remember around that time, maybe something will prompt your memory. And it just so happened that some time later, she remembered that the night of the injection and so forth, she was going to go to the hospital for a while. Then the pain started to ease, so she stayed. But the next day, she went to the hospital and indicated to some of her co-workers, that, look, if something happens, I just want to let you know that Dr. Schmidt came by and gave me an injection last night, and it was awfully painful. So what she did was later on, when she came back and she remembered that when she went back to work that day, that someone told her that one of her favorite patients had died the night before.
Oh, so you could get that
And so she
date.
went back and checked the records and found out that the man had died on, I believe, the night of August the 4th.
Got it.
And that's how we were able to pinpoint the date. And then later his medical records that we found hidden in his office pinpointed the date, or coincided exactly with that date as to when the HIV virus was withdrawn from one of his patients, and also a blood sample from another lady which contained the hepatitis C was drawn either that day or 2 days before.